So today here for lesson 13.5, we're going to be working on some long division, but there's some decimals involved with the dividend. And really, it's business as usual, except we're going to push that decimal point up into the quotient, and that's it. We just continue to do long division like we know how. So let's just mark up our text a little bit here so that we can recall all the different important pieces of a division problem. So everyone highlight this 8.55 or circle it or something like that. We're going to be labeling those dividend, okay? Those are the dividend pieces. I might just write it off to the side here. How about I write it in yellow? Then it will match. That's not very easy to see. Well, kind of. So you're writing this right on your workbook, okay? And then I'm going to go highlight the other piece of the division problem with a different color, Mrs. Moore. Geez, there we go. And anyone remember what the name of that piece out front is called? What's the name of that piece out front? Starts with a D. Go ahead.
The divisor.
Yeah, you got it. The divisor. That's right. And then we have one more piece, and that's where our answer, our solution exists, which will be situated in an expression style. We'll have two expressions equal an answer, right? Does anyone remember what the name of that spot is called in a division problem? What's the name of this spot?
A quotient.
And that's right. So we're going to write quotient in blue. I don't know why my dividend turned to blue, but I'll fix that. Let's see if we can fix that. Well, guess we can't fix it. I'll rewrite it for you. There we go. So we've got our dividend, our divisor, and our quotient. And the reason I put all three of these here for you is because when it's written horizontally, like an equation, the features are arranged differently than if you set them up with long division structure, right? So we need to know where these pieces belong. If we're given maybe the equation style up here, we need to know how to structure a long division problem. So always the feature that is first, that term that's first is your dividend, and then your divisor goes out front, and your quotient ends up being your solution here, okay? So just like I said, long division with decimal dividends isn't a big deal at all. Notice how we just push that decimal point up into the quotient area in exactly the same position it was in the dividend. So I think one of the more important things for this particular lesson, guys, is that you really space your place values well and keep it nice and organized linearly. Okay, so going up and down, we should have nice vertical columns that help us stay organized in getting through that dividend, okay? I actually want to start down here, lower on the page, 223. And you might need a scrap sheet of loose leaf to get you through some of these longer ones. But for 1, 2, 3, and 4, we can just do these right here on the page, okay? So my first move is always to just push that decimal point up into the quotient and make it really prominent for me so that there's no question in my mind where you're placing that decimal. And then just like regular, you do long division. How many times does 4 go into 1? 0. So we put a 0 there. Swing around, 0 times 4, 0. Take the difference, 1. And then you know I like to use an arrow to grab the next digit and bring it down. Using the arrow with a longer dividend, like maybe number 7 or number 8, helps you stay organized. So the arrow grabs the next digit and pulls it down. How many times does 4 go into 16? 4. And you can be done as soon as you get to a remainder of 0. And you know we like to put smileys in our remainder. That way we know we're done, right? We're happy, we're done. Right, next one. Step 1, push that decimal point up into the quotient and then go after your long division. 7 goes into 3, 0 times. 0 times 7, 0. Take the difference. Pull that next bit of the divisor down, or the dividend down, sorry. Do it again. 7 goes into 35, 5 times. Swing around, 5 times 7, 35. We're done. Right? Okay. Give number 3 and number 4 a try. Number 3 and number 4.
Finished.
All right, I'm just working slowly through them so you can check your work. Grab that next bit of the dividend. Hey, did we get the same answer for both of them?
Done.
I kind of noticed fast facts here. Do you notice fast facts hiding in these problems? So if you do, there's no reason to do the long division. If you can recognize fast facts are at work, I don't mind if you write it all out. Does that make sense? But number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, those are not fast facts, are they? Those are going to require a little bit more calculation. Okay, so let's look at number 5 now. Push that decimal point up into the quotient. Same routine. 3 goes into 0, 0 times. Drop it down. 0. Pull that next dividend piece down. 3 goes into 8. 2 times. Wrap around. 2 times 3. Take the difference. Pull it down. 3 goes into 24. 8 nice equal times, and that leaves us with our remainder of 0. So see what I meant about needing a loose leaf? You might not have enough room here when it goes on and on like that. Not too bad, right? So I want to try one of these longer ones with you. I think I'm going to see if I can make a little spot so that it covers up. There we go. Let's do number 7. I made a little white square to cover up my writing. That way I'll give myself a little space here. All right, push it. Now begin long division. 7 goes into 9. How many times, class?
1.
1. Swing around. 1 times 7, 7. Take the difference. 9 minus 7 is 2. Grab that next piece. Pull it down. Aubrey, you writing these down? Doesn't look like you're writing much, honey. 7 goes into 25.
3 times.
3 times. 3 times 7, 21. Take the difference. Grab that next bit of the dividend, pull it down. I like the arrows because there's no mistake about what digit's next, right? If sometimes you write your numbers a little squished, you might skip a digit or mistake which one is next, I really like and encourage you to use those arrows to pull down the next bit. 7 goes into 41 5 times. Yep, because 7 times 6 would be 42, and that's just a squeak too high. Last piece of the dividend, and it happens to work out nice for us. We can go 7 into 63, 9 even times. I don't know what my pen is doing there. Sorry, guys. Is it lagging a little bit when I'm talking? No? Maybe it's just my pen. Okay. All right. Hey, I'm going to look at number 12 next. And what I want you to think about is, yes, we have 2 separate problems, but you only need to do the division long enough until you can determine which one carries the greater value, right? So if you can find out simply through dividing to the 10th place, then you can be done. What I mean is, when I set these 2 problems up, I know the divisor goes out front and the dividend goes underneath. And I just do my long division long enough until I know what my answer will be. I don't care what the actual answer is. I just want to know which one is going to be less than or greater than, right? And if it looks like they're going to be the same, well, then I better keep going to prove it. So push those decimal points up. And I think to myself, 3 does not go into 1, but 3 does go into 16 5 times, right? So I'm going to just stop there for a second and see if that's enough information for me. Go to the next one. 2 goes into 0 times, but 2 goes into 8. How many times, guys? 4, right? So I don't have to finish these problems. I have enough information right now to tell which one is greater, right? Which one's greater, the one on the left or the right?
The left.
You got it.
Yeah.
So no need to finish the problem completely because it didn't ask for the exact answer. It just asked which one is greater. Compare them. Cool? All right. There are a few on the back side, on your homework side, that are a little trickier because they have some double-digit numbers involved. For instance, look at number 1. Look at number 3. So I want to do a couple of these with you and set them up. Today for homework, you're stopping at number 16, okay? So right here is where you're going to stop. And we'll do these another time, maybe for some classwork or warm up together, okay? So you're going to stop at 16. But I want to do number 1 here together and show you what I mean by this one takes a little bit more concentration. I've got a space worked out for myself. You're just writing this on loose leaf, right? So when you submit your work today, you're probably going to need to submit a loose leaf paper instead of your workbook page, and that's fine with me. Okay, number 1, we've got 20 out front as your divisor. I'm writing with white, that doesn't make sense. 20 out front as your divisor, and then 2 5/10 as your dividend. Tell me, coach me, what's first?
2 times 1.
We have to first push the decimal point up into the quotient, right? And then we start asking ourselves long division questions, right? What's the first question I ask? How many times does 20 fit into 2? How many times does 20 fit into 2? It doesn't, right? 0 times. So 0 times 20, 0. And that leaves me with 2. Pull down the next piece of the dividend. How many times does 20 go into 25?
1.
Once.
4. Wait, no, yeah, once.
Once, right? But look at this. When I subtract, I have a remainder. We're not going to stop until we have a 0 remainder. So how do I keep going? I simply add a 0 on the back. Remember, zeros that are positioned after the decimal point, they don't carry any value, right? But they are helping us finish the problem, because if I pulled this 0 down, I can keep going, right? Until I have my dividend is completely without a remainder. How many times does 20 go into 50 now? 2 times, right? Swing around, 2 times 20 is 40. We're getting there. Hey, I still have a remainder. So what do?
Add a 0.
Add another 0, pull it down, deal with it. Okay, 20 goes into 100 how many times? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. How many times does 20 go into 100?
50.
5 times.
Oh, yeah, 5.
Yeah, count by 20s. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 5 times. And 5 times 20 is right on the money, right? So as soon as I reach the end where I have a 0 remainder, I can stop. Now for this bottom part, 11 through 16, you don't have to keep going until you get the full answer, right? You only have to keep going until you have enough information to determine their value, right? Against each other. Could we do another one with this, maybe adding on decimal zones? Let's do another one. I think I had to add decimal territory to number 3. Let's try number 3. I'm going to get a workspace going for myself. Maybe I'll make a purple one this time. A purple workspace for number 3. Okay. Set it up over here. And I'm going to be very careful about stretching out my digits so I have enough space to organize my work. Push that decimal up and let's go. 18 goes into 26. Well, it doesn't go into 2, right? So I can kind of hop right over that. I can put a 0 here if I want, but I can just go directly to the next digit and say how many times, well, then does 18 go into 26 and place that quotient right up here. How many times does 18 go into 26? 1 time. So I make sure that 1 is above the 6, not above the 2, because remember there's an invisible 0 there. 1 times 18 is 18. So you kind of took care of 2 digits at once, and that was nice to be able to scoop away 2 digits at a time. All right, when I take the difference of this, it looks like I'd have to regroup a little bit. I got an 8. Pull down the next piece of the dividend. That's a 1. Now, I don't know how many times 18 goes into 81, so I have to kind of estimate to get a guess, and then maybe off to the side, I'll have to check what my actual value is, right? So 18 is close to 20, so let me gauge it by 20s. 20, 40, 60, 80. So 4 times maybe can I fit 18 into 81, but I have to try it, right? So 18 times 4, let's see what I get. 18 times 4, that's 32. 4 times 1 plus 3, 72. So that will work. There's no way I could fit another copy of 18 in that space, right? So 4 will work. So 18 goes into 81 4 times. So I put my 4 up there, swing around. 4 times 18 is 72. Take the difference. And darn, I still have some dividend. I've got a 9 to deal with. How many times does I have to pull down another 0 to make it work, right? How many times does 18 go into 90? Well, if I know 18 goes 4 times and makes 72, what do you think about maybe 5 times? Let's try 18 times 5. Let's try that. That's a 40. 5 plus 4, hey, 90, right on the money. So we put a 5 up in the quotient, swing around, 18 times 5 is 90. Take the difference, Mr. Juicy, at the bottom. That one was a little tricky, but you got through it by adding zeros onto the dividend and keep pulling them down. Okay, yes, Michael.
Where did the placeholder 0 come from for this one?
It came from the fact that I was left with a remainder. I had 9, and I can't just leave a remainder. I'm going to keep going. So I added a placeholder 0 so that I could do that, and kept repeating my long division until I had no remainder at all. All right. I'm going to pause the Zoom, but I want you to work a little while I'm here to answer questions before you hop off, okay? I would recommend working on, in order here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, structure them up so that you can work on that long division here with me to help. One suggestion that we came up with in the other class, I don't have a loose leaf here, but you know how loose leaf lines go left to right horizontally? We took our loose leaf and turned it this way so that it was going vertical. And it really helped people stay organized when they were doing their long division work. So maybe consider tipping your loose leaf paper one turn so that you can have columns that act like place value holders, right? So that's a suggestion for long division, or graph paper. Some people like to use graph paper. But either way, the only thing different here with decimals involved is push that decimal point up into the quotient. Got it? All right, I'm going to pause this, and you guys get working. Let me know if you have any other questions.